Hear about Echo's experience at Penn Vet that inspired the TV show Life at Vet U on Animal Planet. Heather is a co-executive producer. With her proceeds from the show, she created a nonprofit dog rescue, Hollywood Huskies. Visit hollywoodhuskies.org. This is the story that inspired the show.
People and pups! People and pups!
So you got her from the shelter when she was a puppy, and then I remember you saying once that she had had some health things happen.
Yeah, she's had a long history of health issues. When I first got her as a puppy, she had a really bad case of giardia, and she was bleeding internally from that, and she actually needed blood transfusions at 10 weeks old. And then when she was 4, she got heat stroke. I was living on the East Coast at the time, and what I didn't realize was that the humidity can be even worse for the dogs than the heat. It wasn't that hot a day, it was upper 70s. So it wasn't, obviously 80, 90, 100 degrees where you keep your dog in. And she got heat stroke and almost died. She was...
From heat stroke?
Yeah, apparently it's really common, but people don't realize it so much because the dogs don't show the symptoms until it's too late. And then it's a very, very low recovery rate. We were living in Philadelphia for a year at the time, and fortunately we were close to Penn Vet Hospital, which has an amazing facility and amazing staff, and she was in ICU there for an entire week and had 28 blood transfusions.
28 blood transfusions?
Yeah, so it was amazing. I learned about all this stuff I didn't know. Like Penn Vet has a doggy blood mobile, and they take dog donations from only dogs over 50 pounds, and apparently there's 2 types of blood. There's basically positive and negative equivalent, and some dogs can take one or the other or both. Unfortunately, Echo took both because I think she went through a lot of their blood bank.
And she almost died?
Yeah, they said she had less than a 50% chance of making it.
How old was she?
She was only 4, which was, I think the fact that she was younger helped.
And how old is she now?
She's 11, and so she's doing great.
So it was a good investment.
It was a great investment.
You got 7 more years.
Yeah, and she's looking great. And a couple of years ago, she had a tumor on her neck. I thought it was a spider bite. And then one day it started changing shape, and we took her in, and it was stage 2 cancer. So they were able to remove it before it spread. And so she's had a lot of, health care. She really doesn't like going to the vet. And,
with good reason.
Yeah, and I remember the vet who helped save her in Philadelphia came over to visit once. I'm still in touch with her all these years later, but she came over to visit, and Echo was all excited to see her, and then it was like you could see on her face she remembered where she remembered her from, and then she started cowering and her tail went between her legs. You didn't like that so much, did you?
Oh, well, that's a happy story.
Yeah, no, she's great.
It's always nice to hear stories of when dogs survive these things, because cancer and heat stroke.
But the heat stroke I really learned a lot from, because I just didn't I didn't know how to watch the symptoms. I mean, it's obviously...
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are that they're tired. Obviously, they seem tired. They can be less anxious moving, but she really didn't look that different. But her gums turned a slightly paler shade, and that's like a big telltale sign, apparently.
Yes.
But it was interesting. She came home from a walk and was seemed to be completely fine, and then late at night she started throwing up blood, and by that time all of her organs started to bleed internally, but she'd seemed fine for the previous hours leading up to that, and the vet said that she almost never sees follow-up cases because the dogs usually don't survive, so she was all excited to have Echo coming back for follow-up exams.
Well, it was so nice to see you, Echo, and to see you, Heather. Thank you so much for coming and being on the show. I'm Claire, and this is People and Pups. We'll see you soon.